What's good, y'all? It's Pod.cannion, and I am here with the start of another series. By the time I'm recording this, Monster probably the review for that already came out. It's not really a review. This isn't really a review channel, but I at least want to recap or highlight some things that I know that I would want to talk about as far as the anime. So this is like a prelude into the next video I'm doing, which will be a recap of the upcoming season of Vinland Saga. I watched the first season recently. It was amazing, and I couldn't wait 3 months to figure out what he was going to do next, so I picked up the manga. So for those who have also picked up the manga or want to know a little bit about what happened, that is what is coming next video. But for right now, before we get into this, obviously I'm reviewing some of Thorfinn's L's, so heavy spoiler warning ahead. I greatly recommend you guys to check out this anime for yourself. 24 episodes, it won't disappoint. It didn't disappoint me, and it didn't disappoint many of my other friends either. If you're not too much of an anime person, this is definitely a good place to start, because I can see many people who don't like anime watching this and being entertained as well. But with all that being said and all that out the way, we're going to catch up, so at least there's a intro of some sort. Now for this, we will only be highlighting Thorfinn, who is the main character, and the L's he took throughout the first season. After this, we'll be reviewing the story and pretty much my thoughts on the theme and all the things like that. Now the first thing is this is set up in what I believe to be Greenland, because I think that Iceland is grass and Greenland is snow. He's in a snow area, and we meet his father, who is Thor's, all his other family members, and the place that he grew up in. Thor's was once a warrior, and he fled to live a normal life. His old life is catching up to him, where a guy named Floki invites him to go to a war that they need to happen. Now, we find out that this is all a setup from the beginning, and he really just set Thor's out so that he would be killed, and he hired a mercenary by the name of Askeladd. Now, this is where we roll into our first L, because Thorkill is getting ahead of myself. Thor's is on his way. He brought a little bit of the commoners with him, the younger people, and he didn't even realize that Thorfinn snuck aboard the ship. So fast forward, they get caught into a trap, and Thor's is the only one there who really has the right amount of hands to fight. But it's about 30 against 1, and Thor's pulls out his sword and doesn't use it. He just starts knocking people out left and right, and he clears a whole ship. There are still people up on the top with arrows and a whole nother ship that he has to deal with. But throughout this, he points out the leader, who is Askeladd, and challenges him to a duel. Now, we see this duel, and once again, Thor's is just way too good. And he puts the sword to Askeladd's neck, hoping that he'll surrender because he's clearly lost. Askeladd has too much pride and says, "You will have to kill me, and that's the only way you'll get defeat." And Thor's just can't seem to do this. So they get a hold of Thorfinn, and Thor's makes the deal that if you let his son live, he will gladly lay down his life. And that is what happens, is as in the first L, is that his father was set up and died right in front of him. Now, this rolls immediately into the second L, because he has no one to take care of him. He stays on Askeladd's ship, and he grew up alongside his father's murderer, constantly challenging him and losing for over a decade. We get a time skip. After the time skip, in the manga I realized this is different too, because the story starts out with the time skip and then goes back to Thorfinn as a younger child, so that we find out how his father died and all that. So we skip up to that, and he agrees. He's like a seasoned warrior now. So Askeladd says, "If you take this one guy's head, I'll accept your duel." and he just proceeds to utterly embarrass this guy. Like, I'm talking, they start the duel, and Askeladd goes for a low blow, physically but mentally. He asks Thorfinn, "What was your father's name again? I've just killed so many people. I tend to lose track." So then he's messing up his name and all that. And he says, "Oh yeah, it's that fool who lost to me because he wanted to save your life instead." And this makes Thor's go absolutely ballistic, and he loses once again. Now, this won't stop him. He swears that he will kill Askeladd and carve out his heart as an offering for his father's grave. So we fast forward to a next fight where he says, "If you kill this guy Thorkill, you can take another L to me in a duel." Thorfinn accepts, but ends up taking an L to Thorkill. Now this fight is absolutely great, but Thorkill is an absolute superhuman, dislocates his shoulder, and is just really toying with him. Like, he doesn't even use a weapon, he's just using his fist, and it's kind of bad, but not really, because he swims away. He manages to cut off 2 of Thorkell's fingers, but this barely phases him at all. He's just like, "Oh, my hand, oh well." But in short, he takes another L. I'm only highlighting his L's, but Thorfinn was an absolute demon. He would be killing countless soldiers just with his 2 dagger knives, and the man was cold, I'm not gonna lie. We fast forward to another plot point where they pretty much have the king in their possession, and they're running away from Thorkill because he is trying to get the king so that he can pretty much, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. All I know is that this man is trying to get to the king. So they're running for days and days, crossing seas, crossing over mountains, but they eventually catch up to him. So while the commotion is happening and they're trying to make sure that the king is safe, Thorfinn doubles back because he realizes that Askeladd just might die, and he doesn't want anyone else to die other than to his hand. So he goes back and fights against Thorkill a second time so that Askeladd won't die. I almost didn't add this in the L counter because he did win against Thorkill, but the reason I added this in the L counter was because he pretty much beat up Thorkill, a 7-foot giant, just to turn around, challenge Askeladd, and lose right in front of the guy you just beat up and the king that you were protecting, all for his sake. That is just absolutely embarrassing. And I told y'all I was gonna speed run through this. We had the last L, but definitely not the least, for sure. He watches Askeladd, the guy that he swore to his father he would kill, get killed by the king that he was supposed to protect for Askeladd's sake, right in front of him with his own 2 eyes. And the only thing Askeladd says to him is that, pretty much, "Dang, you've been giving your whole life to defeat me. What will you do now? Will you find new purpose? Will you figure out what it is to become a true warrior?" Which is what his father said right before Askeladd killed him. And this man is in pure utter shock. He swipes at the king but barely misses, just slashing his cheek and all that. And I can tell that this man has absolutely lost it. But that's my speed run of the many L's of Thorfinn. If y'all want to stick around, I'll be going over the manga and stuff. So yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all like the video, subscribe, all that, because we got content pumping out like crazy now. Let me know what y'all want to see. Let me know what y'all want to talk about. With all that, be great, be safe, and have a blessed one. Peace.